Welcome to the Animation Station Podcast, your home for discussions and debates about all things animation. Each week, we'll rank, review, and revel in animated shows from yesterday and today, and from around the world. So grab your Acme slingshot, set your mobile suit to autopilot, and put on your mouse ears. The Animation Station Podcast begins now.
Go listen to Something Rotten, people. It's worth it.
And on that wonderful bombshell, welcome to the Animation Station Podcast, episode 67. My name is Josh.
I'm Gavin.
And today we're going to be talking about Disney's 1984 classic. Did I get the date right?
86.
1986 classic, The Great Mouse Detective.
Yes.
But first off, how's it going, Gavin?
It's going good. I'm beat because of work, but no, it's going well. This is actually like a nice, relaxing time for me. I get to hang out with you, watch a movie, and then chat about it. It's like it's the first time
it's like old days
since we recorded last week that I've had a moment to just kind of chill. So it's nice.
All right, Grabby, you got any news?
I'm excited about the upcoming release of Cars 3, which happens on Tuesday. I didn't pre-order it, but I'm sure I'll be getting it either on Tuesday or very shortly after.
Well,
I'm very
pre-order it
excited
on Amazon. So even though, we still have a little bit, you'll still get it like a few dollars off like Target or something.
Yeah, I probably will. Yeah. I used to do the Disney Movie Club and just like let those features roll in. But their prices aren't very good. You get some benefits from it, but man, that's the only thing I don't like about it.
Are they pretty much like that standard $24.99?
No, like standard $29.99.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they don't. I haven't seen one less than that in a long time. Now, they do have other benefits of being in that club. Like if you just go and shop their back catalog, you can get great deals there. But all the brand new stuff, it's way cheaper to get it elsewhere.
You should maybe see if you can get Great Mouse Detective on Blu-ray.
Yeah, I still just have the DVD of it, and I know you cringed when that DVD intro came on.
No, not even that. When you put the DVD into the Xbox, instead of it pulling up the Blu-ray title screen, it's like the DVD title screen. I was like, dang it, Gavin.
Well, to be fair, I don't know that you're going to get that much more high def quality out of a movie of that age.
I'll notice.
I'm sure you will. I think the sound quality is what you'd see the biggest upgrade in.
Probably
in that case. But yeah, sorry. I'll eventually. I'm sure all my. Well, I don't know because I say that, but by the time I get them all on Blu-ray, there'll be some newfangled thing like Purple Ray or something that's.
Before some new conflabbit thing. Jeez,
I know,
Gavin, you old man.
I know. It took me forever to get DVDs and then like transferring them all over to Blu-ray. Man, it's expensive to keep up with all that stuff. And a lot of it, I mean, like I don't feel like the upgrade difference is big enough all the time. Like on a movie like Great Mouse Detective, I don't think it's...
Yeah, probably not.
But like Jurassic Park, heck yeah, you upgrade that to Blu-ray the second that happens, So...
Or if you're like Josh, you have like, for some reason, like 4 copies of the Blu-ray because you just keep getting the special editions whenever they come out with all of 1 minute of like bonus feature, and you're like, cool, well that's definitely worth it.
I've got my movies like that. I've got several Lion Kings. At one point I think I had 6 different versions of Nightmare Before Christmas, and I think I had 3 different versions of Avatar. And I think currently I just have the like extra special.
You have Avatar?
Edition. Oh, I love Avatar. Yes.
I haven't seen Avatar in forever.
I've got the full extended director's cut. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think the last time I saw Avatar was in the theater.
Did you go back when they re-released it with the extra scene in the middle?
No.
And the
I've
prologue?
not seen an extra scene or a prologue.
Oh, the prologue gives you his backstory like on Earth, which is awesome. And then the extra scene in the middle is like this epic hunting scene that they go on. It's so good.
Well, Gavin, I need to borrow Avatar, please.
Yeah, we'll watch it. We should review it on this show. It's half animated.
We could, and that could
be in Fantasy February.
Well, I was thinking, I mean,
Or sci-fi.
since it's also a live action, maybe that's just a pop culture corner.
Maybe. I'd be down for that.
PCC.
I'd definitely be down for that. I love Avatar.
Speaking of the pop culture corner, last Friday we came out with our Stranger Things Season 2 spoiler review.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to put as many words in that I possibly could. So yeah, Oliver and I did that, and
That's awesome.
Gavin hasn't listened to it yet because he's a busta and hasn't caught up on Stranger Things.
Right. I haven't started yet, so mum's the word on them spoilers, Josh.
Billy's the word, if y'all know what I'm talking about.
How's Oliver doing? I haven't talked to him in a
He's
while.
good. He'll be down here a little bit for Thanksgiving. I don't think we'll get to chat. He's got plans, but
Yeah.
Christmas.
Cool.
So hopefully we can have him on again.
That'd be cool to have him in the room for another little episode. That'd be great.
Speaking of things that come out on Tuesday,
Mm-hmm.
which we weren't really speaking.
We were before.
Yeah, before. I transitioned very poorly. Your Name comes out this Tuesday.
Yes. Also exciting.
And stay tuned a little bit after our review of Great Mouse Detective to learn about our Thanks Giveaway event. Yes.
So,
Maybe it involves Your Name.
So did you pre-order the special edition of it?
I did, and then I canceled the special edition, and
Okay.
I just got the regular.
Yeah. I think the special edition looked neat, but ultimately when it comes to those like boxed editions where there's extra stuff in it, it's like you look at it when you get it, and then it just kind of sits in the box forever. You only really ever use the movie.
That's what I thought
experience.
about, because I was like, oh, you can get the Radwimp soundtrack, and I'm like, I already own that on digital though.
Fantastic.
I don't really need it on physical.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, it's all right.
Right.
The only thing that's kind of sucks is I don't have them in English, which is on the physical copy.
Oh,
so I'm like,
that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which is kind of cool. This week we have our special Wizard World Comic-Con exclusive episode coming out on Friday, so you can listen to me and Corey as we talked about, a little bit of Wizard World, everything that we did there. And then we'll have our interview with Disney and DreamWorks artist Thomas Estrada.
Yeah, I'm excited to
who
hear
we
that.
met at Wizard World. He will be on, we'll pop that in on the last portion of that episode.
Very cool. I'm excited to hear that one.
And then next week is going to be our interview with voice actress Melanie.
Cool.
So Tiki and Rin herself. So all you miraculizers, I don't know what they call miraculizers.
Ladybuggers?
Ladybuggers? That sounds weird. Maybe not ladybuggers. All you fanaculuses. Nope, that's stupid. All you miraculous ladybug fans.
There it is.
And Fate Stay Night fans. Listen to that episode.
That's awesome.
It was good. She was super nice.
That's cool. Everybody we have on the show is very nice. Mm-hmm. It's a great community.
Except Corey.
Corey's kind of a jerk.
Corey's kind of. You guys may have noticed that Corey is again not on an episode. That's because I told him that I hated him and I fired him.
No, that's not true. He's going to have lasers put in his eyes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's getting laser eyes.
Laser eyes.
He's going to be like Cyclops, except probably not as cool because Cyclops is already cool.
Nice. We got a new trailer this week,
Yeah,
right?
last little bit of news. We got a new trailer for Trollhunters Season 2.
Ah, so exciting.
So pumped.
And most importantly, there's a date in that trailer.
Yes, December 15th. Mm-hmm. So...
So while you're in line for Star Wars,
exactly,
you'll
be able to watch
Trollhunters.
Which is the best timing because I took December 15th off.
Oh, nice.
Because we're seeing Star Wars on the 14th.
Oh, okay.
At like 9:30. Mm-hmm. So we're seeing it then, and I was like, I'm going to be pointless at work the next day.
Right.
So I took that Friday off well beforehand.
Nice.
And I get to watch Trollhunters.
Marathon
so
Trollhunters.
I'm going to binge Trollhunters.
That is awesome. How many episodes was the last season? Was it a full, like, 20-something
24.
episodes? Okay,
24,
cool.
26.
Are we expecting the same amount this time?
I would assume.
Oh, man, I'm so excited. So, real quick, I know you want to talk about the trailer, but I can't remember. Are we doing balcony for Star Wars?
Yes.
Or is it director's suite?
We're balcony.
Balcony?
We couldn't. Director's suite was sold.
Okay. I'm still pumped. I'm so excited. Oof,
Yeah.
excited. Okay, Trollhunters. What's going on with that trailer?
Okay,
dude?
so I got problems with this trailer already.
The problems or
not
questions?
I got questions
Okay,
with this
'cause-
trailer.
yeah.
Because, like, we start off and, like, there's really... I thought this whole season was going to be Jim in the other world and them trying to get Jim.
Right.
But yet, literally, they're together the first scene of the...
Well, maybe they're
not really
holding
the
back, though. Maybe the first segment of the story will be that.
See,
and
that would
they're
be cool.
just showing us, what's happening once they all kind of come back together. I don't know. It's weird that they would do that if that's the case. What the first question I had is that kid that's basically narrating the trailer. That's a new character, right?
No, that's the same kid. Remember
Well, I
the
don't
little...
remember him.
He's like that kind of nerdy kid who...
They're all kind of nerdy kids.
Yeah, he's the one who keeps thinking that he's seeing the trolls. Yeah, do you remember the episode with the goblins?
Yes.
And the delivery truck? They were delivering a package to his house.
Oh, that's right. I do remember him now. Okay.
Yeah.
So he maybe is going to become more of a central character in this season,
I don't know. I
maybe?
think they just were him being weird.
Okay.
Maybe.
I mean, they did kind of amass a team throughout the last season, so
Yeah.
maybe he's like another... I mean, they could use kind of a techie person or something,
I
maybe.
could see him being the the human character that is starting to figure things out.
Right.
And
Well,
they're
that's what
like,
it seems to indicate.
oh snap, we now have to, play everything super careful because this nerd is gonna like catch us.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that could be. I could see that.
But the other thing that was really confusing for me, almost spilled that all over the laptop. That would have been awful. Arg was in it.
Yeah.
Which
I'm excited
he's
about.
Dead. I don't get it. I'm confused.
There's some sort of troll magic or something that's going to happen, and that was my greatest fear about season 2 because Arg was probably my favorite character in season 1, and the idea of moving on without him was going to be hard for me.
Yeah.
And seeing him in the trailer, yes, it brings up 1,000 questions, but yeah, I'm so excited about it.
Did we see Mr. Strickler in the trailer?
No, we did not.
I thought we saw like a body shot
because he was
that I thought it may have been Mr. Strickler.
Oh, it could have been. But at the end, he's like sent off on that transport thing, right?
Yeah.
And we don't know where to, right? So,
But I mean, I think with
he's
his
somewhere.
character, I'm like, you bring his character back because his character has.
Oh yeah.
His character started that redemption arc and then just didn't get to fulfill it.
Right.
So I'm like, give him his redemption arc.
And the main villain character that we see, that's the original villain's dad who had been trapped in that other realm, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember his name, but
I don't remember.
that's who that is, right? Okay, that's
I'm gonna
what
have
I
to
thought.
rewatch Trollhunters.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm kind of. We originally thought it was going to come out in November. I'm kind of excited that it's December 15th because now I feel like I have time to rewatch season 1, or at least the second half of season 1, in prep to watch season 2. Because like I'd forgotten about that kid, so I just want to refresh my mind about it. Yeah, man. It looks good though. I think the animation looks like it took a little bit.
Yeah, it looks a little bit better,
forward, and oh man, I'm so excited.
Also, Wakfu season 3 comes out in March.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I thought it was December,
Oh, okay.
and so I was like, "Oh, cool."
So,
And then I looked and I was like, "Oh, dang."
dang.
Well, it's fine.
got
I have
stuff in
I have
between
plenty of
then.
time. Yeah, I got plenty of time.
Did the new season of Star versus the Force of Evil start yet?
That actually starts this week.
Okay, I thought it was
Today,
coming
in
soon.
fact.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Is
Today,
when-
as in Monday.
Yeah, that's today,
Okay.
Gavin.
I just didn't know what timeline we were working with.
Yeah, and it's we've got two full weeks of Star vs. the Forces of Evil.
Yeah, nice.
So every day you get an episode.
That's awesome.
They released all the wonderful tidbits, so it's great.
Very cool.
All right, you ready to start this?
Let's do it, man.
All right, so for our main event, we are going with Disney's The Great Mouse Detective.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you who are I don't know where I was going with that.
For those of you who may not have seen it before,
Exactly.
here's
We're
a
gonna
short synopsis.
read the. Oh my gosh, the cover's like a novel. Okay. Olivia, the brave daughter of a beloved London toymaker, runs to Basil of Baker Street to help with her father's disappearance. Basil's jolly assistant, Dr. Dawson, and loyal dog Toby lend a hand, that's weird. Lend a hand and nose as they sniff out clues through their charming miniature world. I should have read it like that anyway. The final chase leads to Professor Radigan, voiced by Vincent Price, a hard-hearted criminal whom Basil must outwit to save all of Mousestone. Now digitally remastered, fully restored, and fully unforgettable characters and spectacular animation, all leading to the climactic climb atop Big Ben. It's elementary who you'll want.
Sounds like they tried a little too hard on this synopsis.
No, it literally says, it's elementary who you'll want to watch again and again. Oh, I guess they're talking about the Great Mouse Detective. Or Basil is who you're going to watch.
Yeah, that's an awkward sentence. I agree.
It's elementary who you'll want to watch again and again, ... the Great Mouse Detective.
Yeah. It's elementary, but we're going to tell you anyway.
That doesn't make any sense. Get out of here.
Get out of here with your synopsis.
That was the worst synopsis ever. Disney, learn to write. My goodness. Make a sentence flow.
Okay. One guy messed up his job.
I hope he doesn't have it anymore. Anyway, for the Great Mouse Detective, Grabby, you got some...
Yeah, well, Great Mouse Detective, 1986. It's kind of at a bit of a turning point for the Walt Disney Studios. We've talked about it a little bit before when we talked about Little Mermaid. People draw the line for where the Disney Renaissance era started, and they either start with Little Mermaid or they go back and start it with The Great Mouse Detective. And for my money, I don't think it really matters. I think they're both part of the transition, and I think for me the real Renaissance begins with Beauty and the Beast, but I'm rather alone on that usually. But
do you just skip Little Mermaid?
No, I don't skip it, but I think it's much more of they were still in process, and they didn't really bloom into what I consider the Renaissance until Beauty and the Beast.
Okay.
But this one has so many great things to it. Interestingly enough, it is the first Disney animated feature film that used computer animation. So in that climactic scene inside Big Ben, all the gears and chains and things, that was all computer animated. To a really good effect. I thought they did it
looked really
very
good,
nicely.
Yeah.
It didn't have all that weird texture that you sometimes see that makes it stick out like a sore thumb. They did a good job of making it look 2D, with hard lines and whatnot. So it didn't look like it was like shiny computery gears or anything. So that was kind of a major milestone for the studio in incorporating that. And, they've used computer animation in their films ever since. Even all their hand-drawn stuff. So that was kind of a major moment. The studio at that point, John Lasseter had left to go begin what is now Pixar. And part of his impetus to move and to leave was the movie Tron, which had come out 2 years before this, or 4 years before this movie. And, that signaled a moment in the Disney company and within other animation companies too, that computer graphics, computer animation could be a viable tool in the film industry. Because Tron was this crazy experimental film that just was a huge success. And so they started to realize that they could build in elements using computers that would save ultimately time and money over having people hand draw intricate things over and over and over and over. So it's an interesting kind of transitional period, I feel like. But, excuse me, this movie is fantastic. I think it's largely forgotten by a lot of people, or I think a lot of people nowadays haven't even ever seen it. It's not what I would consider a mainstream Disney movie that everybody puts like on their lists of best Disney movies. But it's really good. Our buddy Liam over at Cloud City Cast, it's his favorite Disney movie. He has a tattoo of Basil on his leg. So he's hardcore. He's probably the biggest fan of this movie that I know. And second would probably be Charlie. It's one of Charlie's favorite movies. And that's largely because of the Sherlock Holmes thing.
I want to talk about that.
Sure.
Why didn't they just use Sherlock Holmes?
Well, they were.
I get that they were trying to do that. Like, yeah, he lives above Sherlock or
Yeah.
below Sherlock Holmes. But
Well,
I
they
was like,
didn't invent
just-
the concept. This is taken from a series of children's novels that were written back in the 50s and 60s, I think, called Basil of Baker Street. So it's them. Most of their films are ideas and properties that come from literature, fairy tales, things like that.
Okay.
There's very few Disney films that are like original stories to the Disney company. They're all takes on other people's stories usually. And this is another case of that. So they're just borrowing a popular children's series that isn't that popular today. Like, I don't think many kids read Basil of Baker Street today. You can still find it at Barnes & Noble. I mean, it's still out there, but it's not very popular.
Okay.
So, but that was kind of the idea behind that. And interestingly enough, little tidbit, the voice actor
It was Basil Rathbone.
it was Basil.
I noticed. I was listening, and I was like,
Rathbone, yeah.
because like that was like the Sherlock that I watched a lot. Like
Okay.
when we watched it in school and everything. It
Yeah.
was the Basil Rathbone ones, and I think I have the Basil Rathbone collection, like one of
Nice.
those things that BBC did, where it's just a bunch of Basil Rathbone stuff.
That's awesome.
I was like, oh yeah, Basil Rathbone, cool.
He's great. Most people consider him like the iconic Sherlock Holmes. I prefer Jeremy Brett, but they're both great. Basil mostly did films, whereas Jeremy Brett did the television series
Oh yeah, I didn't watch
in the 80s. And for my money, I like his take a little better, but I mean, Basil's amazing. So, but if you look at the credits, we just mentioned the credits in this film. It's a who's who list of people that became Disney legends. I mean,
you mean like
many people.
You mean like Scrooge McDuck,
Yeah.
Alan Young?
Yeah.
Like the moment I heard that, I was like, that sounds exactly like Scrooge McDuck. And I looked it up. I was like, oh my gosh, it's Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah. But I mean, even like legendary animators, legendary Disney directors, so many people worked on this film that were already super talented, but became household names within the Disney fandom, through the next 20 years as they just rolled out epic work, in that time period. So it's really cool to look back and see, oh, this is kind of one of the first major films that all these people worked on. And it's really cool. So I always get a kick out of it when the opening credits start. And it's like, oh my gosh, he worked on this and he worked on this and he worked on this. It's like too many names to even list. But the directors, Clements and Musker, they're one of the directing duos that went on to direct so many successful films in the Disney canon. And I think this was their first time directing was on this film. And I think they do a fantastic job. I don't really have any major criticisms of this movie. I feel like everything about it just kind of works. But I feel like there's still an element of, there's a lot of young directors, a lot of young animators still trying to find their way. So I feel like it is still a kind of a transitional film for me.
Yeah.
In the realm of the Disney canon, I feel like it's still building towards that greatness that would come a little bit later. But man, I recommend people go back and watch this movie because, like I said, I feel like it gets forgotten. I've blathered on for a while. What are your initial thoughts?
I really liked at first I was not a fan of Ratigan. I didn't feel like Vincent Price's voice fit the way that this character was supposed to be.
Okay.
I wanted a more sinister character, like a more sinister voice
Okay.
with it. And I mean, not against Vincent Price, but I was just like, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling like the sinisterness of Ratigan. So the whole entire movie, I was sitting there and I was like, I guess you're a bad guy. You kind of, but I guess that's the way it's supposed to be.
I almost feel like they took a Captain Hook direction with him.
Yeah,
where he's
very much
he's
so.
a little more elegant, and he thinks he's very posh, and is a little and comes off a little goofy because of that. I really get kind of a Captain Hook vibe from him. But I mean, I thought he was really sinister, especially when he brings out that little bell.
Yeah, it was just the voice wasn't fitting for me. Like the voice wasn't fitting the character.
Interesting.
That was my problem. Like
Okay.
that was my main complaint. Probably the best thing in this movie was Olivia Flangerhanger's outfit, her little little beret with her scarf and her little. I loved it. I was like,
totally
this is this cutest freaking mouse character I've ever seen.
Yeah, I agree. It's
I want you to draw
character.
her. I want you
to do that.
and then I want you to tattoo her on me.
Okay, I will do the tattooing. Yes, and scar you for life.
So I guess we can just kind of give like a brief little rundown of the movie. So we start off with it's Olivia's birthday. What a great birthday!
Oh yeah,
your dad gets kidnapped.
Yep.
It's a fun. What a beautiful
classic Disney start.
Oh yeah, and they're
throw
like
some tragedy in.
It's like, oh yeah, by the way, where's your mom? And like, oh yeah, she's dead. And they're like, oh, of course, mom dead. It's a Disney movie. That's how you know.
Yeah.
So mom's dead. Father gets abducted. And then so she goes to Basil. And then we have a fun little jaunt, pretty much, to the toy. By the way, that toy store that they go into to find, to try and, when they're tracking down the bat.
Yeah.
Fidget.
That's right.
When they're tracking down Fidget, I hope that none of those toys ever get sold because they're all ugly. Like, they look scary. Those are some scary looking toys in there.
I think they were kind of going for that a little bit. You know, when you look at antique toys, especially dolls, they do all have a creepy look. There's that moment where that one doll is tilting towards them and it lands face first and the face shatters right in front of them.
The eye
That's
is like
so creepy. Yeah, I agree. I mean, old-fashioned toys are kind of weird.
Yeah, it was like, ugh, no.
What got me about that scene and some of the other scenes with Mr. Flavisham is the level of technology for 1897 was a little bit. I mean, I know we had steam power, and I know we had clockworks and springs and things like that. But some of it, I don't know. It's a little bit hard to believe. Like a freestanding dancing ballerina mouse? No.
You don't know, man.
No. I mean, he must have been.
Dude, here's the thing.
Maybe
Maybe mouse technology is better than human technology.
That's true.
We
got
don't
those
know.
little hands that can build little intricate things.
Yep.
Maybe that's true. That's true. Did you see the Dumbo Easter egg in the toy store?
Yeah, it's blowing bubbles. Like, nice.
I thought that was good.
Were there any other Easter eggs? That's the only one I saw.
Well, I would consider Basil Rathbone voicing Sherlock as an Easter egg.
Okay.
I feel like there was one. Oh, I think that the little music box of the little jazz band that was all dressed in fire outfits, I think that's a reference to the Firehouse Five, which is a famous band of Disney animators who also formed a jazz band, and they would actually play at Disneyland sometimes, and they were called the Firehouse 5+2. I think that was a reference to them.
The Firehouse 5+2, so there were 7 of them.
Yeah, eventually, yeah. Yeah. You know, goofy name. But I think that was a reference, and I feel like there was another one that I noticed, and I'll have to keep thinking about it. I can't remember what it is right now.
Yeah, I mean, I like the movie. I really like Basil. Basil was... You know, he's my boy. Yeah, I think my main problem was the Radigan because I was like, his voice just wasn't doing it for me, and it was kind of drawing me out because I'm like, you're supposed to be the sinister guy, and so like when you see a character like that, you think, okay, someone like a Jeremy Irons or something like that, someone who's going to be
deeper.
I want like a deeper, more sinister voice. And I got Vincent Price, and I'm like, it's 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo. So, kind of took me out.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it is, you know, they did go really cartoony with this movie. And I think the voice acting plays into that as well. So, I think even though they had some really sinister moments where we basically see murder on screen almost.
Yeah.
It's close a couple of times. We don't actually see that first mouse getting gulped down, but it's very straightforwardly insinuated. And, but other than that, I feel like they did a lot of cartoony things to kind of balance that out. I'm thinking of when they're in the CD bar and you got the piano player and the piano keys are rippling like a big ribbon, like very Looney Tunesy kind of look. And then there's the moment where Toby like turns his ear into stairs so they can walk up him.
Yeah.
Really kind of like Tom and Jerry kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, when Olivia comes off of Toby for the first time, like when she was like patting his stomach through the woo,
like slide
like
whistle,
the slide whistle, like oh
yeah. So his voice kind of just falls into that because he does have a very lively, recognizable sound, and he's done very, very creepy things in his career, and he's done very comical things in his career. And to me, this kind of rides right down the middle, and I liked it. I do get what you're saying. It makes sense to me because when you look at that character, you don't necessarily expect that particular voice to come out of it. And so that makes sense to me. But that being said, I love Vincent Price, and I feel he can do no wrong. So I enjoy his performance in this every time I see it. I mean, I think he's hilarious. I love it. And as far as his sinisterness, I feel like it's there enough that you do feel the tension of it, But I like that he also is classic evil villain. Like, even when we think of like supervillains and all of the things that we know and love in nerdy fandoms, they all just go over the top. And so like when he decides how he's going to kill Basil, he's like, I just decided to use all the ways I wanted to kill you. And so he's got a gun pointed at him, he's got him in a mousetrap, he's got an arrow,
that was pretty
he's
good.
got an anvil hanging for the ultimate splat, and it's like,
and we're going to take
kill
a
you
picture
all the ways, and we're going to take a picture of it. Yeah. And and then he went the extra mile to record himself singing a goodbye song to Basil. And I freaking love that. And that to me is like the best scene in the whole movie. I like that whole thing where he has his little villain monologue, and then he goes out with his mic drop of playing the song, and then Basil comes up with that last second plan to get them out, and it works, and he has that cheeky moment where he's like smile, and the camera snaps. Genius. I love the timing of that scene. It's so good.
I agree. It was really good.
It's fantastic.
Love how he was somehow able to get his coat on and his hat in perfect time and catch Olivia and pull up I almost said Watson. Dawson.
Yeah.
At the perfect, literally with just enough time to say cheese.
Yep.
That was it.
That's so good.
Or smile or whatever.
Yeah, I love it. The timing of this movie is probably what is best. Like I like a lot of the timing. I think the pacing of the movie is good. There's never really a slowdown where you're like, not. Come on, get on with it. It doesn't have, and Disney falls prey to this a lot. It doesn't have one of those diversion scenes where it's like, what are we doing here? They've got several movies where they've got a goofy scene with like one of the side characters like struggling to do something, and it's supposed to be hilarious. And a lot of times it's just like, okay, it's
just too much.
We got it, Gus. Get the dang seed and get out of here. It's like, come on. So, I think the timing is always really good in this movie.
What do you think about the music?
Oh my gosh, the music. So Henry Mancini did the music for this, and Henry Mancini is one of my favorite composers. He is probably most famous for writing the music for the Peter Sellers Pink Panther movies, the famous Pink Panther theme that we all know and love. He did the music for Breakfast at Tiffany's, a lot of famous movies. So he's a fantastic composer, and this has very much a Mancini sound to it. He uses a lot of woodwinds and a lot of kind of he has a certain beat that he uses, and I don't really know how to describe it, but this soundtrack has a Mancini fingerprint all over it. But I think it serves the film really well, and I really enjoy it. I think it adds a beautiful texture. Now, they did have a couple of songs that were sung in this. I wouldn't consider this a musical by any stretch, because really you just have Radigan and his gang sing a song, which is kind of fun, and it has the murder in the middle.
And then we have
in the bar. We have the girl that comes out and gets a little body at moments there. It's like, wow. There's a lot of smoking, a lot of drinking, and a lot of hot mouse ogling that go on in this movie and murder. I mean, there's some dark stuff in here. I'm trying to think of, I thought when we first started the movie, I thought, is this the latest movie where we see a character that like smokes regularly? The only other thing I can think of that happens later is you've got the Snarfblat in Little Mermaid, and he starts to light it up, and then Little Mermaid blows it in his face. But I'm trying to think if there's any actual smoking that happens in any Disney film after this.
Cruella. Oh, that's way early. That's way earlier. My bad.
No, but that's another example. So I think we're also at that tipping point too, culturally, where we're deciding. At that point, I guess it's still okay to show kids smoking and drinking, but after this, we're not going to show kids that stuff anymore. Because there's a lot of it in this. There's drunkenness, and I mean, they're criminals, man. They're doing bad stuff.
All right, so joining us, we have a very special guest, Hanna. How's it going, Hanna?
Surprise!
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Nice to be here.
All right, so let's go ahead and wrap this up now.
So that was weird.
See how it is.
So that was weird. We were talking about Great Mouse Detective, and all of a sudden Josh says, "Oh, hang on," and he bolts out of the room. I was like, "What's going on?" And then Hanna shows up.
Hello.
Hey, that's kind of cool.
Crazy. Okay, so we were just talking about the music. Do you remember? When was the last time you saw Great Mouse Detective?
Oh, it's shamefully been a while. It's one of my favorite.
Been a while.
It's been a while.
It's so good.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But I've always been semi-obsessed with anything Sherlock Holmes.
Yes,
related.
we are too at our house.
Yeah. So I mean,
Jeremy Brett. Do you like Jeremy Brett?
Basil.
Or do you like Basil? Okay,
Basil.
you guys are Basil. Me and Charlie are Jeremy Brett.
Yeah, because like that was the easiest way to watch it was like the movies. Like
Yeah.
I hadn't seen the TV show until way later.
Yeah.
But when I was growing up, like the movies were usually on like not really like TBS, but like on PBS stuff
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Masterpiece Theater.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Yeah. Totally. Yeah, we're Sherlockians. Is that what? Holmesians.
Yes, Sherlockians is almost just for the Benedict Cumberbatch.
Got it.
Fandom.
Well,
That's what they call that fandom.
my wife is her favorite character is Mycroft from the new
From Game of Thrones,
from the Sherlock BBC series.
He's pretty fantastic.
And so her handle on Instagram is Mycroftian.
Yes.
Which is kind of cool.
Be sure and follow her if you want to know about Korean skincare products.
And cats.
And cats, Korean skincare products, and sometimes Star Trek.
In particular, fat cats.
Yes, very much so.
Hilarious.
Now, Hanna, recap time. Josh wasn't really a fan of Vincent Price. Because I didn't... hold on.
Right?
Here's the thing. Because with Radigan, I was expecting more of like a Jeremy Irons type character. Like a voice to
Something
match
a little darker.
that.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I was...
Okay.
Yeah, nothing... I like Vincent Price, but I mean, just with this character, like when I first saw him and then Vincent Price's voice came out of him, I was like, oh, okay, I guess. Guess that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
I suppose I'll give that to you because I love Vincent Price. I did make you sit through that panel.
Which is actually a really good
at
panel.
CinemaCon with Victoria, so I mean, I guess I'll give that to you.
Yeah, I liked his performance. I thought the voice acting in this film was really good, like all the way around. There's not a single one that I didn't like, actually. I understand Josh's point about the voice of Vincent Price being in this role a little more cartoony and less like really creepy like he can do.
Right.
But I think, like I explained before, I feel like they're trying to ride that line in this movie anyway, because there's
definitely.
darkness in there, but the style of animation is very cartoony, so
Yeah.
it works for me. So I mean, what do you guys feel about the artwork in this movie? Because it, especially for you, Josh, because I feel it's got a very kind of dark, muted palette to it.
I liked it.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It fit with, this is supposed to be London in 1867.
I feel like
So-
London in the 1800s was the dirtiest place in the world.
Yeah.
Everything you see that's set in London in that time period, it's just dank.
Well, yeah, that's
Well,
like,
it's
it's during the Industrial
dirty.
Revolution, so I mean that's what's going on.
Like a coal dust
Yeah.
over everything, and
Smoky and
I mean,
foggy and
America,
I imagine everybody
America in the
there had
1800s
tuberculosis.
is the same way.
yeah,
Yeah,
basically.
that's pretty true.
All
like
of
New
Europe,
York.
like basically the world.
Yeah. That's true. It's funny. The only thing I don't like is I feel like after a while, I feel like we've looked at so much grime. I do feel like, can we just go somewhere clean for just a minute?
Well,
like,
we get some nice color when we go to the bar.
Yeah, oh, and when we go to the Buckingham Palace.
Yeah.
That's of course, that's where the Queen is. It's nice and pretty there.
Nice and clean.
Yeah. So I love the artwork in this. One of my favorite Disney artists worked on the color styling for this film. His name's James Coleman. He's still a Disney fine artist, and he did the color palette.
Is he one of the only 4 left?
Only 4 left?
Never mind. Sorry, I'll talk to you later.
Okay. And the palette is beautiful. I think it works really well. Some of the outfits on the characters that come in, like you see really cool combinations of like greens and pinks, and I love a lot of that fashion design that's in this. Like you mentioned, Olivia's adorable little outfit and her little tam.
She's the best.
She's
the
so precious cute little thing. I love her to pieces. Growing up, I loved this movie. My parents didn't understand why. I think this movie might have instilled my sister's phobia of rats. I'm not 100% sure, but because I loved it and I would want to watch it all the time. But that was always one thing I noticed growing up was the clothing and the detail, and
it's so good.
Just the layers.
Yeah.
It was just, I always just loved it.
I really feel like the artwork in this was designed with love. Like, I feel like the artists really loved working on this movie. And like, there's that scene where they're at Basil's and he first realizes, okay, this is a case. He puts on his little, smoking jacket, but then he puts on his duster over that, or his long trench coat,
he takes the smoking jacket off.
Oh yeah,
and then he puts a jacket on,
suit jacket,
and then he puts his duster on. Yeah,
and it's like that attention to just layering is so amazing. I love it, and like all of the clothing in this, it strikes me every time. It's like, wow, they really did their homework on this, and they really designed full outfits for all these people, or mice and frogs. And it impresses me every time.
He was a lizard, sir.
Was he a lizard?
Yeah, he had a tail.
Oh, that's right. Were there any frogs? I feel like there was. Maybe it was just lizards.
I think
or newts.
You're imposing. Oh gosh, what is it called? I just read the book.
Out of your brain.
I just read the book.
But anyway, you're getting
going
reptiles and amphibians confused, sir.
I'm just always impressed by it, and then you put them in the environments that they created, which, while they did design them as grimy, dank London alleyways, they're so beautifully rendered. Every scene is like a painting. And the artwork in this movie, I think, is overlooked in a lot of ways. And again, it goes back to this theme that we keep hitting on. I feel like this is a forgotten movie in many ways, and people need to go back and watch it. I think people, in a lot of ways, kind of expect or want every Disney movie to be a big musical, because that's what followed in the Renaissance after that. Everything was just a big musical, and it was a big spectacle on screen. This is a very intimate, like a lot of close, tight shots in small little corners of London. So it's got a completely different feel to anything that really followed it for the next 15 years or so. And I think that's part of the reason, but man, I think people need to go back and look at this and just look at the fine detail in this movie, because it's really, really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
I agree.
This is one of those films I feel like is completely underappreciated. Because
just like Black Cauldron.
I think Black Cauldron is
here's the
accurately
thing.
appreciated.
No, we're watching it in Fantasy February,
cool.
and we're gonna watch that and Sword in the Stone.
Okay.
And so we're gonna be able to look at both.
Okay.
And probably Sword in the Stone will probably win, but we'll have little Princess Elionway.
Yeah,
the missing of the Disney princess.
Right. She didn't qualify for the franchise.
She did not make it, no.
Black Cauldron, I have such a hard time with it. I understand.
When did Cauldron come out?
82 or 3.
Okay.
It was the one that basically was one of the backbreakers of the studio. It was a complete box office failure, and that was the moment where they were basically deciding to shut the studio down. They kicked all the animators off the lot in the mid 80s and sent them to a warehouse space where they put up cubicles. And so, I mean, they were in dire straits when they were animating the end of this film and when they were animating Little Mermaid later on. And part of that, you know, was what I guess drove them to the greatness that followed, is that they had to go through that struggle and they had to fight for every single moment of animation that they were allowed to do. And a lot of that reason is Black Cauldron. Now, that's not why the business side of it isn't why I don't like Black Cauldron. It's the movie Black Cauldron is the reason I don't like Black Cauldron.
Well, they skip a book from the Lloyd Alexander series. They skip a full book. I have issues with that.
Yeah, I just think the execution of it in general was not great.
I think
there are some really cool things in it.
It still looks so good.
There are some things that look great.
Great sequences in that film.
Especially in the realm of the Horned King and his dungeon or whatever he lives in.
He looks so cool.
He's pretty sinister. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not voiced by Vincent Price.
It's another dig.
Definitely not.
Just digging holes, guys. That's all I'm doing. Just digging holes.
That's great.
All right. Now, real quick, was this a box office smash or?
It was a success.
It was a success.
I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head.
Okay, I just didn't know if it was a mediocre movie, box office wise. If it was a good movie, bad movie.
I am old enough that I fondly remember going to see this in the movie theater. I was in college at the time, getting my master's degree. In a smoking jacket. And no, I was 8 at the time, but I know that all my friends went and saw this. Everybody I knew went and saw this. It was very popular in its day. I think it just kind of got eclipsed and looked over
by the one that
string
comes
of movies
right back
that
out.
came after it, you know. So it's fantastic.
All right, you guys ready to rate it?
Let's do it. Are you ready to rate it? You've only had a few minutes, Hannah.
Oh, that's okay.
Are you ready?
I will rate it.
We'll let you go last if you want.
Oh, no. It's
okay.
whatever order, I'll definitely still rate it.
Grab it. What you got?
So, out of 5 Jiminy Crickets, do you have a rating scale, by the way?
I think it changes every time Josh and I
you
talk.
Think of what you want yours to be this time. I do Jiminy Crickets every time. And this one for me, this one is going to be 4.5 Jiminy Crickets.
4.5?
Very, very high on my list. It's one that I like, I think, more every time I watch it. I'd give it a 5, but there's just something not quite 5 for me.
What's that something?
I don't know. I can't quite nail it. Like I said earlier, I feel like it's a lot of people. It was very much designed with love, and you can tell the love that went into it. But I just feel like there's one more step that all these people make when they go into the films that follow. And I haven't quite nailed it down. I'll keep thinking about it, and if I can nail it down, I'll tell you next week.
Okay.
But it's really good. Right up there with some of the best ones. 4.5.
I'm going to give it 4 Dipper Pines.
Nice.
Solid 4.
Yeah. Did you round down to a 4? You probably did, right?
No.
Okay.
No, it was just a 4.
Okay. Right in there.
Just a straight 4.
Nice. Well, that's a good score.
Well, we'll round it out. I'll give it a 4 out of 5 magical lamps here.
Nice.
Because it's like you said, there's just a little bit of something that's just doesn't quite make it to a 5 for me.
Yeah.
But it's one of my all-time favorites. I probably would definitely rank it really close in my top 5
Ooh,
favorites.
nice.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite Disney films.
Very cool.
Really.
Very cool. Of my underrated Disney list, it's probably, I think we did that at one time. Didn't we do an underrated? Maybe not.
I don't think so. But
on my underrated Disney films list, it's probably number 2 for me. It's one that I don't think gets nearly enough respect.
Well, Robin
nearly
Hood
enough
gets
mention.
nearly enough respect.
There's no love for Robin Hood.
That's my number 1
Mine
underrated
too. That is
Disney
my
film.
all-time favorite Disney
I
film.
think it should be in everybody's top 5. It's a perfect movie.
Yes.
Do we want to do?
So that's
Robin
another one that
Hood is
Liam likes
fantasy?
too. What?
Robin Hood's fantasy.
Yeah, it's folklore, fantasy. We could stretch that a little bit.
Maybe.
Like,
I don't know. We're already doing like
we're still amassing our list.
Yeah,
for
we're already
February.
doing 2 Disneys in there. So
That's true.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe we skip something. Maybe
All
do
right.
something different. All right. Now, for the top 5. Are you guys ready for the top 5?
Yes.
Shoot it. Maybe I can come
We'll
up
all
with
just
something.
do separate top 5s.
We didn't do one.
I'm going to do my top 5 Beatles songs right now.
Not doing a top 5 this week.
Okay.
Just because we'll probably start it again next week.
Okay.
It's just we're running out of stuff, guys. It's hard to come up with good topics.
It's not hard to come up with ideas. It's hard to come up with ideas that work for
that
a
work,
top
yeah.
5. Because there's a million ideas, but not all of them work. Like, if you throw us an idea, we totally appreciate it. But try it out first and see if it actually works.
You can actually come up with 5 things
Yeah,
that you
because we're
for
like,
your list.
we're watching Shark Tale. Let's rank our top 5 animated fish. And then we took 45 minutes just to come up
Flounder.
with 5 fish.
Yeah, come up with more fish. That's a problem.
It's so hard.
Flounder.
Oh, it's Flounder and then like the cast of Finding Nemo, and that was about
Yeah,
it.
and we had
That's
the
about it.
incredible Mr. Limpet. And it's like, come on.
Yeah.
This is weak.
So what we wanted to talk about was we've got 2 contests going right now.
OMG.
Our first one is our Race to Reviews, which all you have to do is just leave us a review on iTunes, and you're automatically entered. When we hit 25, we would have 1 prize pack. When we hit 50, that will unlock another prize pack. And then when we hit 100, that's another prize pack.
Where are we at? Like 95, 96?
Well, we're sitting at a solid 15 last count.
We're on
so
our way.
10 more,
Outrageous.
and we've got it.
Nice.
But it's also Thanksgiving month, November. That's the way that it went in my head. So last
it came
year,
out beautifully.
thank you. Last year we had our Thanksgiveaway for Thanksgiving, where we celebrate the fans. And this month we're going to do the same thing. So we have another Thanksgiveaway special.
Sweet.
So for Thanksgiveway this year, we are giving away a copy of Your Name.
Nice.
What? I still haven't even got to see that yet.
Maybe you'll
Well,
win.
you
I
could
need to
win.
it.
I don't know. Does she qualify?
Is that fair? Because I've technically I've already won 1.
You can watch it with me.
Okay.
I'm getting
Yeah.
2, so
Yay.
it's fine. And then we'll have a special piece of art that Gavin did for Inktober. Your one with Scar holding the little mouse.
Oh.
That's sinister.
I loved
Yeah.
that one.
That'll be in our Thanksgiveway, and then
Cool.
we'll probably have something else.
Nice.
We don't have a picture yet because Your Name's not out yet, so
Right.
I can't take a picture and put it on the site.
You could just
Right.
have like a little like Photoshop.
It'll come
Photoshop.
in. It'll come in
Little
Tuesday.
Paint your name.
But it's in Josh's handwriting, so it's like I spelled it wrong, but there's an E at the end. You're like, wait, hold on. So yeah, and for the Thanksgiveway, same thing as last year. All you have to do is you have to be following the Animation Station podcast, and then in all of our Thanksgiveway posts, just tag 2 friends, and you're entered.
Just share
That's
the
all you
love.
gotta do.
Yep.
Yep.
Spread the love, man. Like, tell everybody about podcasts you like, including ours, because as podcasters, we all just need to share each other and, help broadcast this media because it's still a growing segment of entertainment. And I feel like right now it's so much more about cooperative promotions. So, tell everybody about all the podcasts you listen to in your life.
You know a podcast that I listen to and like to promote? Cloud City Cast.
Yes. They're our great friends over there in Bespin. They're in Bespin. Shut up, Josh.
They're in California.
That's where
I'm
Bespin is.
not playing this game. They're in California.
They're above California, up in Bespin.
They're in California.
We love you guys.
Yeah, but they give you all of your wonderful everything to do about Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars.
Yeah, they give tons of news. They keep me informed every week. Their last episode was fantastic. They did a Halloween review of The Nightmare Before Christmas, and it was awesome. So if you love The Nightmare Before Christmas, go check out their review of it.
Did they mention me in that episode?
Fantastic. I think they did.
Well, that was
at
a
some
great
point.
episode. I loved it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Any episode that has me at least mentioned,
Yeah.
A+ podcast.
Definitely.
Share and like and review.
Sure. Also, the Podcateers, want to give them a shout out. They've been gracious enough to have me on another episode this last week, so I was able to call in and chat with those guys again. So
Man, I like how the
give them a
Podcateers can
listen.
get Gavin, but it takes me like 75 minutes to try and get a hold of him. That's just
I'm busy, man. I'm busy.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
that's the thing,
You're
though.
busy.
That's the thing, though. When I record with them, we record at like 11 p.m. at night. So that's when I'm available. Is like late
It's
night.
a sweet spot.
During the day, yeah, I'm hard to get hold of. I agree. I'll be better, Josh.
Nope, I doubt it.
Shout out to the Podcateers. They're on iTunes, Stitcher, Instagram, podcateers.com.
Cloud City Cast is on iTunes. Is there in Stitcher?
I think they are, yeah.
iTunes, Stitcher, Instagram, the Twitters.
Facebook.
They don't have a website yet. They're still in the
I
process.
think they do have a website.
Did they finally fix it?
Yeah.
It
was
was
it like down for a while?
It was down for a while. I don't know if they were reamping it. I'm not
Okay,
100%
so maybe
sure
don't go to the website,
Don't go to the
guys.
website. Just go check out their Instagram, and if there is a website there, then you can click it.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right. Anybody got anything else?
No. I'm exhausted from Inktober. It's finally over.
I think a lot of
31
artists are feeling
drawings.
the exact
I know.
same
I
way.
think
they're like, yes, it's over.
I think the amount of art posted in the first week of November is like a huge drop off because everybody's just going,
Like, I'd get on Instagram, I go, where is everybody? No one's done anything. I go,
I
oh,
know.
wait, because it's
yeah.
over.
But part of the reason it killed me too is that I was working on another big art project. So I will be revealing it. Actually, it will have already been revealed by the time this episode comes out. So check out my Instagram, Gavin Otteson Art. And you'll see my piece that I'm going to have in the Popzilla Foolish Mortals art show in California this month. And it's a Haunted Mansion inspired art show. So full of fan art and
Awesome.
Disneyland inspired greatness. It's going to be an awesome time. I can't wait.
Nice.
Yeah. So if you're in SoCal, come see me.
Also want to give a shout out to It's Alex.
What was that?
Words are hard, man. I want to give a shout out to Alex Clark. You can find his. We watched a couple of them.
Yeah.
He's got some really cool
Funny guy.
animations. It's on Instagram at Alex Clark, and on YouTube he's got a YouTube channel. It's Alex Clark. Mm-hmm. Definitely like, subscribe, review, all that stuff. Blah blah blah.
It's an
that the
interesting
YouTubers say.
concept because it's a really funny guy. And he just basically
he's
tells
he's
stories,
a comedian and a
kind of
juggler
like
and
Dane
stuff,
Cook. He just tells funny stories, but he animates, the scenarios that he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It's really funny.
It's pretty cool.
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
Quick question, Hannah. What are they called, Miraculous fans?
I said ladybuggers.
It's not ladybuggers.
I don't know if
Is it
they're...
Miraculars?
I have never noticed a fandom name, to be
The
honest.
Miraculati.
Let's go with the Miraculati from now on.
Because we are kind of in the shadows. We're an underestimated fandom.
Jeez.
I like it.
Oh, man. Okay, well, on that, I guess we gotta go now. I can't top Miraculati. Good Lord.
We should shoot it at their official Instagram.
We
and see
should.
what they
Dear
say.
Thomas. Now, Gavin, where can everybody...
Instagram and Twitter at Gavin Otteson Art. On the web, GavinOttesonArt.com.
Oh, you can find me, of course, at Twitter or Instagram at asillyred.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh L. Kane. You can find the podcast on Instagram at Animation Station Podcast.
On Twitter at Animate Podcast.
On Facebook at Animation Station Podcast.
On iTunes and... wait, hold the brakes. On Tumblr, Animation Station Podcast.
Oh, you guys have gone down the hole, huh?
I know.
Oh, God, it's bad.
Yeah. I've learned. We need to mention it.
You can also find all of our episodes on iTunes.
And Stitcher.
And on our website, animationstationpodcast.com. Just
We-
click on the little podcast tab.
Perfect.
All right. That was fun. Thanks for joining us, Hannah.
Yeah, thanks
Guys
for popping
are
in.
welcome.
It was good. Nice surprise.
All right. It's for the Animation Station Podcast. I'm Olivia Tumbledown.
I'm Gavin.
I'm the redhead.
I was doing the thing because he
I
never
got
says
it.
her name
I got
right.
it. I got
like
it.
Tambourine, Tanger
Oh,
Hanger,
it's like the Benedict Cumberbatch thing?
Benedict Cumberbund,
Or the
Right.
Benedict Cucumber?
Benedict Stindy Batch, Stumblebun Stangleford. I don't know. I'm Josh.
Benedict Elbow Patch. I'm Gavin.
I'm Hannah.
Bye-bye, little butterfly.
Made you look.
I have nothing.
Oh.
You put me on the spot.
Thank you for listening to the Animation Station Podcast. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Animation Station Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Animate Podcast. Subscribe to us on iTunes and join the conversation at secretsuperheroclub.com, where you can connect with our podcast friends, Cloud City Cast, Getting Into Comics, and Shaun of the Gathering.